Okay, welcome back. So you have started thinking about your website, and in this lesson, we're going to talk all about content that you can put out there. So we're going to talk about how to showcase your skills with blogs or videos. This is called content marketing, and the word marketing can be like overwhelming and a turnoff for people, and it doesn't have to be a scary experience. And here's how I want you to think about it. All it means is sharing relevant, valuable content with your clients or your target market, your client, the people you want to become your clients. You can use content marketing to educate your current clients, to increase your sales, and to save money on advertising and traditional marketing avenues. What's the goal of content marketing? You can have a couple different goals, and it's important to be clear about what you want to do right now. One is to build awareness. Do you just want people to know who you are and what you do? Two could be to build a mailing list to collect people's email addresses so you can talk to them more down the road about the services you offer. You can use content marketing to keep current customers happy. You can provide content that teaches them how to make the most of your online tutoring. Or you can have the purpose of converting readers, so taking people who are readers or viewers of your content and turning them into paying customers. And your goal is going to drive the kind of content you create. So if you set up a blog to go with your website, there are lots of different things you could post on it. One is tips and help. So these can be quick posts, and these are often based on questions people are asking you. So if you think about what the parents of your students are asking you, they might ask you for recommendations, they might ask you how to do something or where to find something. These are questions that you can answer in a blog post. And then instead of writing an email each time you are asked the question, you can refer them to your post. And also, people might find that post who aren't your clients yet and think, oh my gosh, she is so helpful and knowledgeable. How can I work with her? Another thing you can do on your blog, just like you can on your Facebook page, is spend a little time introducing yourself, telling how you became a tutor, telling a funny story or an encouraging story about a student's success. On your blog, you can also give recommendations, just like we talked about on Facebook. What are you reading that your target student might be interested in or that their parents might be interested in? What is a tool or an app you recommend for your population of students? You can also give resources. So these can be, they call them listicles, like, so the 10 best movies for middle schoolers. You can put together a list of things that you love in a certain category. You can give your top 10. You can talk about other related professionals and services. So, how to know if your dyslexic child needs OT or what to expect when you go for a speech and language evaluation. So related content that is not directly what you do, but they're things that the people you teach might also need to know. On your blog, you might want to be a little controversial. You might want to stir up a little debate. Make sure that you keep it relevant to what you do and make sure you keep it professional. So I have a post, for example, on why I don't give spelling tests. I know lots of teachers give spelling tests. I know I was working in schools with teachers giving spelling tests. I know that a lot of my students are taking weekly spelling tests. But I don't give a weekly spelling list with a weekly spelling test, and I don't think it's valuable. And so I have a blog post about that. Why? Because a parent who is so sick of their kids studying and studying and studying and failing a spelling test might be right there with me, and they're ready to give up on spelling tests too. So by reading that that's what I think and that's what I believe about the way students learn, it might draw in a parent who might want to hire me for tutoring. And then finally, also on your blog, you can post any offers you have. So, hey, I just put together this new group class. Here's what it's going to be about. Check it out here. This summer, I'm going to be offering this. Did you know that in addition to one-on-one tutoring, I also offer this service? You can include those on your blog as well. Blogs and YouTube are kind of the two primary modes of content marketing you might consider as a tutor. And here are some possibilities. So on a blog, you might include what are the conversations you are always having with parents. So every time you start with a new student after 6 weeks, they're asking you what? Maybe when's he going to move up a reading level, or how come he's doing so well with you and he can't do this at school? So now that he's spelling better, I can tell that he can't write a sentence. So what are those conversations that you're having over and over again? And what is your expert perspective on those issues? Also, what do you want parents to know about your approach? So if they're starting to work with you, you might want them to be prepared to know how long the scope of this commitment is, or what signs they can look for as their child's reading improves. And you can also think about what parents need besides you. So you're tutoring the child in reading, but maybe the child has fallen behind because they haven't kept up with the reading all these years. So maybe they need recommendations for audiobooks, or maybe the child is avoiding homework and they're disorganized. So you could talk about organization strategies or homework routines. You can do a lot of the same content on YouTube. The difference is you have the benefit of video and of talking to people. So this ends up being a nice audition for online tutoring because they can sort of see your style behind the camera and a little bit about your personality. It also gives you the opportunity to show instead of telling something. And if you think about the fact that dyslexia runs in families, if you are a literacy tutor, the parents you may be trying to reach, their preferred mode of communication may not be reading a long blog post. So communicating in video accommodates parents who are busy and on the go, accommodates parents who don't love to read, and it also gives parents a little bit of a sense of who you are. And it's a way to reach a different audience. People that come back to a blog and read your new post week after week are a different group of people than people who happen to catch your YouTube video when it comes out. So by having content in more than one place, you can reach more than one group of people. Another thing you can do to get people to go to your blog and check it out is create a freebie. So this would be something that your client can use, like a reference sheet, a graphic organizer, a bookmark, a checklist, a handy guide, a set of labels for binders, a curated book list. So the 10 best books for 5th grade boys. Something that you can create as a PDF, and they will get it when they give you their email address. The goal here is to build an email list, collect people's email addresses. But why? Why do you need to collect people's emails? As a tutor, if you're just one person tutoring students, you have a limited number of spaces in your schedule. It may not be the right moment for you to build an email list. But if you have a vision down the road of being able to offer small group classes or webinars or summer camp programs, you may want to build that mailing list now, because there are parents who may not take your offer of one-on-one services this school year, but when summer comes, if your name is in their inbox and you've been giving them valuable content this year, they may decide to hire you for a different program or for their next child. So it's a little bit time consuming to set up, but if you have an email list and you keep in touch with them, you will have some valuable contacts should you have an opening in your tutoring or should you decide to offer something else down the road. There are a few different ways to do this. The basic ones are free. MailerLite is the one I use. That allows me to have, I think, 1,000 people on my mailing list and to send them like 10,000 emails a month or something, 5,000 emails a month. I don't know. I never hit the limit. Meaning 10,000 individual emails. So send out those emails to the whole list. MailChimp is another popular one that also has a very robust free version. Aweber, ConvertKit, these are all other names of email marketing tools. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter which one you choose, as long as you choose some place to house the emails you collect, send out your freebie, and send mass emails to the group. So then what do you say to your email list? And this is why I didn't start an email list for quite a while. You can say seasonal things relevant to your student population. So tips for back to school, tips, Christmas presents for middle schoolers doing distance learning, or like how to prepare your kindergartners for daylight savings time. Um, so so your blog is going to sit out there forever, and people may find it right away and they may find it down the road. Your email is going to come at just the right time, with just the right message at just the right time. You can also use your email list to talk about local events for families. If your tutoring population is local, you can keep them informed about community events that you think they might enjoy. You can give tips for homework help, etc. So how to set up a distraction-free homework environment, a checklist of 5 things to do before you sit down to do your homework to be successful. You can also include offers of tutoring services. So like I said, if you have a new service, like a group that you're offering, or a new certification or new curriculum that you're using, you might want to let families know about that via email. You want to think about whether your email list will be current parents of students you're already working with or prospective parents. And that, so your current parents, they're sort of a captive audience. You're already emailing them about things their students need currently. Prospective parents are kind of a different audience, and they may want some of the same content, but ultimately they may have different needs and different goals from reading your email. So think about who you're recruiting to be on your list. So invest your time in email if you want to build a waiting list or you want to sell products down the road. That's pretty broad and pretty vague. For my tutoring mailing list is small and not very active, and that's something that I keep saying, like, oh, I should get back to them. I should, clean that out and refresh that mailing list, and I just don't. I do use email more to communicate with tutors, but a lot of tutors are very successful having an email list of parents. So it depends on your approach and what your goal is with sending out emails. Video is another popular approach to reach potential clients. At first, I was like, no, video is not for me. And then I realized, well, I am an online tutor and my students really do see my face on video. So maybe it's time to get comfortable shooting some video and putting it up on YouTube. It's important because YouTube is has a huge audience. So 81% of young people from 15 to 25 years old, use YouTube. And 73% of adults in the US use YouTube. So there's a ton of content out there and there are a ton of eyeballs on it. So why video? It gives you the opportunity to reach a different or younger audience. It's an engaging way to show how to do something. So how to set up your planner, how to how to turn on a feature in Google Docs, how to make an origami bookmark. Showing how to do something and teaching a process works great on video. It also helps people feel like they know you. Reading your words and seeing your face and hearing your voice are really 2 different ways of getting to know a person. And finally, it's a great way to show your students how to use your tools. So you could do YouTube videos on how to check your microphone in Zoom, or how to access the annotate tools in Zoom. And these are things that will help your current students, and they may also help other people who aren't your students yet, who then decide to seek you out for tutoring services. So no matter what you choose for content, no matter what you decide to develop and where you decide to put it, the number one thing is to be consistent. Set a weekly, at least, schedule and post something. So that could be a blog post once a week. That could be a couple social media posts a week or one YouTube video. Just pick one place and be there consistently. So you can create this stuff in advance if you want. That's always my goal, is to have my content scheduled out a few weeks in advance. Or you can have something more informal and off the cuff that you're doing, but make sure that you're there consistently, because if you wait more than a week to email people, or you don't show up in their YouTube feed for a week, people forget about you. The internet has a really short shelf life. So whatever you're going to do, make sure you do it consistently. So now take out the worksheet that goes with this lesson, and you have chosen, or you're going to choose, the 3 places that you are going to be available and be known on the internet. List out those 3 places on the left-hand side of the table, and then look at that calendar to the right. 7 days. Make a plan for where you're going to be active in those places over the course of a week. So if it's participating in a Facebook group, you might commit to reading through that week's posts twice a week and responding and commenting. You might decide you're going to put out a blog post every Wednesday or a YouTube video every Friday. Make some decisions about what's a manageable commitment for you to get some content out into the world every week. And remember, you can cross-post things. So if you answer a question in a Facebook group, you can make a quick video that says, hey, I've been talking to a lot of parents about X. Here's what I think about it. So having those multiple sources of information and those multiple places to put out your information, you don't have to create brand new content for every single one. It can kind of overlap and they feed each other. So I hope that's helpful. What do you think your first blog post is going to be about? Tell us in the Facebook group.